So guys, many Rivers State indigents have come out to fault Tinubu's stance. Why should he declare a state of emergency in Rivers State when he did not take any real action against Wike? He had opportunity to have resolved this issue by cautioning Wike, not just Fubara alone, and which Nigerians didn't see him do. And a state of emergency is meant to come in when there are no other solution to a matter and that the crisis is worsening. But we all know that Fubara was in for peace. Fubara was in to follow the Supreme Court ruling. Fubara was in to reconcile with the 27 lawmakers of Wike, but they refused. Now that this crisis has worsened, the Tinubu's government has now, removed Fubara because they call it suspension, but people say he has no constitutional right to remove Fubara. Like a lawyer has come out to speak to that, and now no proactive, step was taken, especially on the part of Wike. On the part of Wike, we saw how Wike has been boasting that he was going to impeach Fubara, and nobody came out, from the political side of the APC, including the president, to at least caution Wike. If you want to impeach a man, you come out on the telly, you brag about it, you talk about it. Even the Chief Justice of the state, they have gone after him saying he falsified his age. This is the same Chief Justice that Wike used, and during Wike's time, Wike said he was the best. Now, Wike has gone after the man because the man is on the part of Fubara, saying that he falsified his age. That one is another case. Anyway, guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at what this Rivers Elder has come out to say on how Tinubu handled this case so poorly until it has degenerated to this point. And even to this point, it has not gotten to the point of, declaring a state of emergency, removing the sitting governor and all that. Rivers State is not happy. Rivers State is boiling. I want you to take your time and watch this video. Take a look.
I have joining me from our Lagos studio, Mr. Tony Akole, who was the governorship candidate of the APC in the 2023 election. He's live for us. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Let's get an initial view from you, Mr. Akole. As a Rivers man, how does this come to you? Did you ever see this come, a state of emergency in your Rivers State?
This is a sad day for us as Rivers people because it's the lowest mark that you can get as a democratic entity that a state of emergency be declared on you. It means three things immediately. It means first that you are failures as political entities. It means secondly that you have not respected any kind of democratic regulations or laws for which you have been elected to represent your people. And thirdly, it's a sign, a mark, a vote of no confidence by the federal institution in the ability of Rivers State to solve its problems. This, for me, is a very, very dark day in Rivers politics.
But, what do you make of the president's decision or the president's move? A political situation that is generating. Earlier on, we saw an explosion. Those who are in the investigation are ongoing, but those who are saying that there may not be any direct link with the political tension in the state, but there are drums of war already, militants already speaking, there are agitators, there are those who are aggrieved, who are saying hell will reign in Rivers State. Do you think that the president was right politically weighing in this matter? In this matter?
So this is coming, it's coming a bit late in the day. The resolution of the political situation should have been done a long time ago, but that's in the past. What we have today is a situation where tensions had risen. It may not be related, but an event happened last weekend at a very, very sacred ground to the Jaws, especially the Calabaris. And I felt that was very ill-intended, whereby the minister and a lot of people went into Calabari land in Abalama to make some declarations. That was poking the tiger in the eye. It's no coincidence, as far as I'm concerned, that a day later or 2 days later, you begin to see explosions rocking the Niger Delta. A few minutes before coming on air, before this presidential state of emergency, a second explosion happened. My thinking and my thoughts is that the warnings have been coming, saying that if we continue in this direction, then installations will begin to be targeted. So I don't think it's a coincidence. And I suspect that the president did not have much of a choice at this point but to begin to draw the line and take a hard situation. It's still a disgrace to Rivers State and the people of Rivers State that it has come to this.
Would you consider it, Mr. Cole, that this is hardcore? That this could be, it's so much of a hard tackle on the situation?
It is, but again, you know, it's one of the provisions that the Constitution makes within a democratic setting. But it is something that is kept so far away that it is only evoked when all else has failed. And that for me is where the indictment is. Sheon, this is a big indictment on every political actor in Rivers State. We have been saying it over and over and over again, that people had to become mature, sit at the table, stop thinking about personal interests, and begin to consider the people of the state. But nobody cared. They don't care about the people. Everybody was just very, very positioned about self-interest, power grabbing, and this is the result of it. I don't think it's not the end of the resolution. You know, what's going to happen now is that there has to be two sides of this. The military administrator, or the sole administrator, former military admiral, is going to have to sit down and do governance. Now, behind the scenes, there is going to have to be a very cold and hard calculation on the politics. If we cannot resolve the politics in 6 months, then you're going to see a situation where this group of politicians will have to be wiped out and a whole generation of new politicians come into the scene. It's a very serious day for Rivers State.
But take a listen to this, right? The president looks like a helpless man in his statement. Politically speaking, this is what the president said. He said, with the crisis persisting, there is no way democratic governance, which we have all fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of the state. He says, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State that's not the portion I wanted to bring up. He made a mention of how he had persuaded both parties, but they have ignored him according to... So now this is the portion. He said, I've made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of the crisis, but my efforts have been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis. It sounded like the voice of a helpless man or an elder in resolving a matter that has come to nothing. What do you make, how do you analyze that kind of statement coming from the president when he said, I've tried to call the parties to order, but they've ignored him?
Well, I'll have to take the president's word for what he has said. From ab initio, for those of us who have been watching this internal battle between a father and son inside the same house, throwing all sorts of tantrums and breaking bottles inside, we had always believed that the one person who had the ability and the right to take a stand and bring all of this to an end was the president. And I believe that there were many things that he had within his power that would have brought it to a resolution much earlier. I believe that along the way the president did some, but did not push as hard as he could have if he was going to resolve this thing today. Now he has been forced to take a decision that is hard and much harder than he would have wanted to take at any point in time. So I still believe that he could have done more earlier, maybe chose not to so that the people can resolve it themselves. It degenerated to what it is, and right now he has no choice but to declare this. It's not good for the people of Rivers State, whichever way you look at it.
Do you think momentarily that the declaration of the state of emergency will douse the situation, the tension, and perhaps all parties, all warring parties, will now have to calm down? Do you think that will douse the tension?
No, Sheon, I don't. So I believe, if I know the way that we are in Rivers State, behind the scenes, you're now going to have some very serious jostling for who will take advantage of this declaration, who is going to work on the state of emergency, who is going to be prepared in 6 months' time, which powerhouse is going to come out. If nothing is done on the political end, you would find out that in 6 months' time, we're still back to where we are, or maybe even worse. And so the president still has a lot of work to do behind the scenes. This is the time when you really have to call people together and let them know that their political future is either totally dead if they do not do this, or people come together to work out a resolution. If in 6 months' time, all political parties do not, or let me change that, if in 6 months' time, all political actors do not come out with a resolution amongst themselves as to how they are going to move Rivers State forward for the benefit of the people of Rivers State, nothing will change.
Give us an understanding of how, because I brought you on the program some months ago and I asked you, what do you think were the possible or the very strong possibility of resolving this crisis? And you gave me some names, about 4 of them that you think can weigh in. But it does look like those measures were not considered. But with the situation on the ground right now, has this not gone beyond the powers of Siminalayi Fubara and Nyesom Wike?
Oh, wow. So first of all, thanks to Libelos, he has opened a whole different can of worms, and it's a very serious issue that he has put on the table, and it just kind of cements the position that I have that this is going to be a long haul. Essentially, back to how do we resolve this issue? I said earlier on that the administrative issue, they signed that into law, that's going to continue. But what you're going to be seeing now, behind the scenes politically, are 3 possibilities. The first possibility is that there might be a challenge on the legal aspect of the state of emergency. So some people may go to court and that will just bring things back. The second may be a consolidation of hard positions, as I said earlier on, where people are trying to take advantage of this state of emergency. But Seun, the third is always where I have been, that we need to have cool heads that are going to sit around the table and decide that, you know what, big sacrifices have to be made. This state of emergency is not good for us. It's not good for the state. And coming out of it, whether it's 6 months or 1 year, things have to change drastically. So we're back to how do we find a solution? And I will still believe that the only way that we're going to solve Rivers' problem is that all the parties who have been worrying, and not just Sim and Wike, but every other party must come to that table and decide to give up ground. If we don't choose to give ground up, nothing will change. So, big battles ahead.
Yeah. Now, so the political tools or the powers that both parties in this field wield, where the governor has a political power. Nyesom Wike, the former governor, is a sitting minister, FCT minister, so that political power is there also. But now, by the proclamation of the president, Siminalayi Fubara has lost momentarily his political power. There are those who will be thinking on Siminalayi Fubara's camp that you've taken power from one side of the divide and one other party has its power retained. Is that balance? Is that fair?
And that's a very, very good question. And that's why I said that the political work behind the scenes still has to happen. And people are going to raise this question. And again, it will fall on the president to show balance and show fairness. He has to step back and really be the father of the nation at this point in time. He has taken a position which he says that this is for the good of the people. But then there are political actors on both sides that have not been acting on the good of the people. Now, is the president willing to diffuse that balance? And one of the suggestions that you've made might be to say that, you know what, everybody who is a political actor within the federal level should step down. Everybody who is a political actor within the state level should step down. Let's bring everybody back to status quo and let's start building up from there. Very hard decisions have to be taken by the president on the political side. What he has done on the side of the administrative side, state of emergency, is a very tough decision on that side. But the decision politically has not yet been taken in the way that is going to resolve this crisis. And until that is done, I'm afraid that this war continues.
When the president, Mr. Cole, says that I've spoken to both sides of the divide and I've tried to intervene personally, but they've ignored me, is it not an indictment? Let's assume that on one part, he doesn't have power over the governor, but what about his political appointee? And I was trying to ask you that question. What does this mean? If the president said, Minister Nyesom Wike ignored me, similarly Fubara ignored me.
Well, I don't. So if that's the case, then both parties ought to be punished. But I don't think that the president said that. If I heard him right, I may be wrong. I may have to look at it again. But if I heard him right, I believe he said that the person or the side that was ignoring him was the governor and the governor's team. That he had spoken to them and they ignored him. I believe that that's what I heard. If that is the case, then the question would be that what were the conditions that were put forward that then led him to be ignored? A president is a very powerful force. And if a state governor should choose to ignore a president, then it must mean one of two things. Either the solution that has been brought before the governor is so one-sided and he felt that it is so unfair that there is no point obeying it, or secondly, he felt that he might have felt that he did not address the issue at hand at all. Now, whether to ignore it or to go back to address it would be a different issue. But
yeah.
If I was
he said, Mr. Cole, he said, these are his words, quote, I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of the crisis, but my effort has been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis. Those are the words of the president, okay. But we need to close now. In closing, just in about 15 seconds, please. You mentioned 4 personalities that you think can help this situation. These 4 persons, can you mention them again? Do you think they still have the possibility of resolving this political crisis?
Gosh, it's gone away. It's gone far beyond them at this point in time, but they are still relevant. At the time I had mentioned Atedo Peter's side, I think that he's still a voice that needs to be listened to. I'd mentioned Patience Goodluck because I think that she was very, very involved in the problem that started at the beginning of all of this and has a voice to play at the table when we're working. I mentioned David Ibiaume at that point, and I feel that he needs to come into the picture. I would also mention 2 other people, Ada George and His Excellency Peter Odili. I feel that they all need to be at the table.
So guys, we are going to be seeing all what is going to be happening in Rivers State in days to come. Honestly, this is a sad day. This is a sad moment for the people of Rivers. This is a crisis that would have been prevented. All these things started from rigging of election. It all started from rigging of election in 2023, and Wike wants to be rewarded. They rewarded him by giving him, FCT minister. And because he still wants to come to do the job again, come 2027, Wike is, doing all these things to please Tinubu. And that has really crippled Tinubu because Tinubu could not speak. Tinubu could not act against Wike because it is all for the benefit of his own party. And now see where we are as a country, See where we are. If Tinubu had been patriotic to say, no, Wike, even if I need you to give me Rivers State, don't go this way. If patriotism had played its role in the heart of Tinubu, we wouldn't have been where we are. Tinubu nobody saw Tinubu cautioning Wike. He will only tell Fubara, go and implement the agreement. Go and implement Supreme Court ruling. What have you told Wike that has come out to say they will impeach Fubara, heaven will not fall? For an ex-governor to boldly make that claim on a television station during an interview. Nobody cautioned Wike that even if you want to be the one to push for Fubara's impeachment, why declare it openly without fear? Without fear of being criticized. and nobody is talking. The security agents are all quiet, that a man is threatening the peace of a state, that he is no longer part and parcel of the government of that state, and nobody talked. Now all of a sudden, directly or indirectly, they have now removed Fubara. They say it is they call it a suspension, but guess what? Nigerians are saying that this is not suspension. They just want to remove Fubara. So guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. It is really so sad that we are all here where we are. There is this headline that says soldiers hold Fubara family hostage in Rivers governor's residence. You can see it. Soldiers hold Fubara hostage. This one is a sad one. This one is a sad one. Let me just read some of this. It says, Governor Similaye Fubara and his family members have been held hostage at the government house, Port Harcourt, by a contingent of heavy armed soldiers Tuesday night. Hey, People Gazette has learned. You see it? The development comes moment after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu invoked Section 180 of the Nigerian Constitution to proclaim a state of emergency in Rivers. The Nigerian leader based his controversial move on a prolonged and rapidly escalating political feud led by state lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike, who commenced impeachment proceedings against Mr. Fubara last week to settle scores in his fallout with Mr. Wike, who engineered Mr. Fubara's election in 2023 despite corruption charges. Away. So many things are unfolding. Rivers State is on siege now. The military has taken over and Fubara is being held hostage. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.